Round 2 of the Masters is in the books. The cut has been made. We have a lot of cool history happening this year. Let's tee it up.
Welcome to Data Access Golf, your home for rapid golf improvement. And now, from the thin air of the Rocky Mountains, next on the number one tee, your host, Aaron Stewart.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Data Access Golf, the podcast. Just wanted to jump in. We've got 2 rounds in the books right now and wanted to kind of pull up and look at some cool data that we found while sort of crunching some numbers. First and foremost, the cut has been made. I want to apologize for my voice today. My mouth is not moving as quickly as it normally does in that I had a tooth extraction yesterday. It had become abscessed and was in a lot of pain, so a good friend of mine was able to remove that, and I'm very grateful. So Dr. Marshall, thank you very much. And so we'll try to plow through this today. First and foremost, we had the cut made after the second day, and 22 individuals have been cut from the Masters, which is quite a small cut. It's quite a small field to start with, but quite a small cut. The ones that sort of stick out and surprise you, obviously Justin Rose, who shot a 75-73 to miss the cut. The cut was actually at +3. And he was actually, based on the data of the 5 aspects that we looked at coming into the tournament, he was the one that was far and away, at least statistically speaking, should have been in the best place to win this tournament. Obviously, you got it. That's why we go out and actually play it. So he was my pick, and he was in 4 out of the 5 different statistics that we looked at, being proximity to the green, scrambling, 3-putt avoidance, and 10-footers. Justin Rose was in, and we have a proximity to the green at 150 to 175 yards, 75 yards, and 125 to 150 yards. He was on 4 out of 5 of those and was really playing well. He did take a big break before the Masters, and I don't know if that necessarily was part of his poor performance, but he did not play up to his standards in the Masters this year for sure. So some of the other surprises that did not make the cut, at least as far as I'm concerned. Let's see. Mike Weir is a local guy and a past champion, obviously, and he shot an even par 72 the first day, so kind of thought that maybe he would figure it out, and he shot a 76 and missed the cut. Danny Willett, a former champion, 75-73, same as Justin Rose, missed the cut. Sergio Garcia, 73-70, a previous champion, 73-75 to miss the cut on the number +4. Adam Long, a champion of this year out in the desert, 75-74 to miss the cut. Brant Snedeker, 75-74 to miss the cut. Let's see, Fred Couples, who has been playing well and typically does make the cut here, 78-71. So that first round kind of took him out of it. Charles Schwartzel, who has played well in the Masters, 77-72. So Paul Casey, he's a winner this year, just recently, 80-76. So those are the ones that were kind of a big surprise. Again, only 22. Vijay Singh also missed the cut. But the cool thing about what we've got going on today is we have 5 at the top at -7. That is the most we've had leading after 2 rounds, after 36 holes. So that is a bit of history right there, that we have 7 up on the top. And we've got them from, 4 different countries. We've got Italy represented by Francesco Molinari. We've got Australia represented by Jason Day and Adam Scott. We've got the USA represented by Brooks Koepka. And we've got Louis Oosthuizen representing South Africa. So very cool to have that many. And then we've got 4 people right behind them at -6. Dustin Johnson, Xander Schauffele, Tiger Woods, and Justin Harding. Justin Harding being from South Africa as well. So really cool leaderboard. I don't know if you've watched any of the tournament. It's been really spectacular play. I don't remember a time when we've had so many of the big guns packed up at the top. Really, as far as the you've got a tie for, what is this, the top 5, and then you've got another 4 down. So the top 9 folks we all really know except Justin Harding. So super impressive and really fun to look at. I just to give you some idea of the stat leaders so far, and again, PGA Tour is the best for keeping stats, and so I really appreciate that they give us some midway stats for the Masters. But the interesting thing about these stats is you're going to notice that there's not really too many folks that are in the lead that are impressing us that much with these stats. So let's look at them. Tony Finau's actually playing quite nice. He's leading in driving distance at 319 yards per drive. Then really the next, you've got Justin Rose at number 4, Rory McIlroy at number 5, Adam Scott at number 6, and then Justin Thomas 310, and Brooks Koepka at 309 yards. So that's basically your top 10 and those that are contending right now. Driving accuracy, interestingly enough, Bernard Langer at 89%. As we like to say, and again, I know he hits it further than me, but as far as the pro game, right, I think the expression is he can't hit it out of his own shadow. So it's easier to hit the fairway that way. So anyway, so he leads as far as driving accuracy, but the names here, obviously driving accuracy not as important at the Masters because nobody in the top 10 here is in the top 10 leading except Francisco Molinari, who's hitting 82% of his fairways, and that is one of his strengths, hitting fairways. So he is the only one in the top 10 that is leading in driving accuracy. Again, the Masters not known for a lot of rough and being very penal in the rough. So greens in regulation, jumping right back down. You've got Adam Scott, Ian Poulter, Brooks Koepka, Louis Oosthuizen, Tiger Woods as being the ones that are in the top 10, well, within 2 strokes of the lead, that are actually leading in greens in regulation as well. That is an important stat at the Masters, as we've talked about before. Making sure you hit the green and having an opportunity to make that birdie putt. Now, the next few, the leading in birdies, I thought this was a fascinating stat. So leading in birdies, Xander Schauffele is number 1. We know that he started off slow. I think he shot 1 over and then came screaming back and now sits at 6 under par. So he had quite a few birdies yesterday. He's had 13 total birdies so far in 2 rounds at the Masters, which I think's amazing. Bryson DeChambeau, who really struggled yesterday, but he's in second place with 12 birdies. Brooks Koepka, Louis Oosthuizen, and Keegan Bradley all have 11 birdies. Jason Day, Justin Harding, Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, and Billy Horschel round out the top 10 with 10 birdies each. So kind of cool there. Obviously, birdies are very important at the Masters. So out of the stats that we're tracking right now, the most important, obviously, are greens in regulation and birdies. Driving accuracy seems to have very little to do with anybody who's leading at the Masters. And driving distance seems to have very little to do with anybody who's leading at the Masters. Right? So we've actually got some, like Justin Rose, who was 4th in driving distance, didn't make the cut. So there you have it. And then the last thing I was looking at, I know we discussed sort of the pre-show to the Masters. We discussed how the powers that be at the Masters always protect that course and protect the dream of Bobby Jones, which was he wanted people to really have to play well on the par 3s and par 4s, and then he wanted to give them birdie opportunities on the par 5s. So what we saw in the historical scoring averages at the Masters is that's exactly right. On the par 3s and par 4s, it averages, those holes average over par. And on the par 5, it averaged under par. So looking at, again, through round 2, I just wanted to go through and kind of compare the holes and see how they're playing out and see if historically, if the course is holding up to what it has been ranked at historically, which is kind of a cool, interesting question. Even the rankings of the holes as far as difficulty goes to see how those match up. And what we see is obviously the course is playing softer. They had some precipitation, and it looks like they're going to have some more over the weekend. But it's been interesting to see how the course still holds up because they have the ability at the Masters to really control the playing conditions. They have the sub-air system where they can dry out the greens and they can dry out some of the wetter areas on the course. So they have the ability then to, even when it is the course is a little wetter than normal, to have some control over that. And I think we kind of see that in these numbers. So I just want to quickly go through here and run through them. Again, this is going to be really data heavy. So if you don't like the data and the numbers, probably, until next time, better data means better golf, and we'll see you next time, right? Signing off. But for those who like to geek out on this kind of stuff, so hole number 1 averaged 4.24 strokes over the course of history. Through round 2, 4.16. The ranking of hole number 1 has historically been 6th, and so far after 2 rounds, 6th as far as difficulty goes. So dead on perfect, very close to how hole 1 has always ranked over the course of history, which I think is amazing. Hole number 2, par 5, pink dogwood, historically has been a 4.79 average. It is averaging 4.77 in 2019. Rank historically is 16th. Rank for 2019, 15th. So very consistent there. Hole number 3, par 4, Flowering Peach is the name of the hole. Historically, the score has been 4.08, 2019, 3.9. So here's the first par 4 that is averaging less than par, not typical, and yet the difficulty ranking on both holes, in historically and for this tournament, 14th, exactly the same. Okay, so which would suggest that maybe scores are a little lower this time around for the Masters in 2019. Okay, hole number 4, Flowering Crabapple. You got to love these names, right? Historically has averaged 3.29. It's a par 3, has averaged 3.29. For 2019, 3.08. Okay, so it has averaged, its rank has been the third most difficult hole historically. In 2019, the 9th most difficult hole. So here's the first one where we see a great bit of disparity between the historical and the current ranking, which means then that, again, if this holds true going forward, again, the greens are softer. I will give them that. And so par 3s are easier when the greens are softer. Absolutely are. You get to tee up the ball. You get to pick your iron. Boom. It's just a lot easier. You've got a perfect lie on the tee. So it'll be interesting to see if this doesn't throw up some red flags through the end of the tournament and see how this, and we'll definitely look at this on Monday after the tournament. But historically ranked 3rd, most difficult, and now ranked 9th. That's quite a jump. So there you have it. Okay, hole number 5. This is the one we talked about. They added 40 yards to try to make it more difficult and get it back to how the hole was originally designed to play. It has historically averaged 4.26 strokes, and 2019, 4.34. It's actually gotten more difficult than historically. In the past, it's ranked the 5th most difficult hole. This week, 2019, it's ranked the most difficult hole. So objective really reached here. Par number 5, Magnolia has become the hardest hole in the course, at least in 2019. So definitely done well there. But the average score on the hole has only gone up 6 points, right? Okay, so hole number 6, Juniper, par 3, averages 3.14 strokes. This time around, 3, right on the button. Difficulty ranking historically, 13th, 2019, 11th. Number 7, par 4, Pompous, has historically been a 4.15. 2019, 4.09 strokes. Difficulty ranking historically 10th. For 2019, 8th. So close. Close there. Number 8, par 5, Yellow Jasmine, historically has averaged 4.83 strokes. For 2019, 4.67 strokes. Difficulty ranking historically 15th. Difficulty ranking for 2019, 16th. Very close there. And you would expect it to be bumped down a little bit. It's actually playing a little more difficult, probably because it's Well, we've got some rearranging to do here. It's very interesting, and it gets more interesting from this point forward. So number 9 is a par 4. Carolina Cherry is its name. Historically, the hole has averaged 4.14 strokes. In 2019, 4.12. Here's the interesting thing. The difficulty ranking historically has been 12th. 2019, it has been 7th most difficult. So it's 5 holes more difficult in 2019. Maybe something to do with the moisture and making that hole play a little bit longer. Hole number 10, par 4, Camellia, historically has averaged 4.31 strokes. 2019, 4.23 strokes, so a little easier. In the past, his ranked is the most difficult hole, number 1. In 2019, it is averaging 3rd most difficult hole. So still tough, still in the top 3. Hole number 11, par 4, White Dogwood is the name. Historically, he has averaged 4.3 strokes. For 2019, 4.32 strokes. Rank, historically number 2. For 2019, number 2. Dead on perfect, playing exactly the same. Hole number 12, par 3, Golden Bell. Historically, has averaged 3.28 strokes. 2019, 2.93. Again, another hole averaging, another par 3 averaging less than 3. Difficulty ranking in historically has been 4th. For 2019, 13th. So the par 3s are playing much easier in 2019 than they have historically. Number 13, par 5. Average strokes for historically, average strokes have been 4.78. For 2019, 4.5. Historically, it has been the 17th most difficult hole. So basically, almost the easiest, right? 17th. And for this week, also averaging 17th. Azalea being the whole name. Number 14, par 4. 4.17 historically, 4.17 in 2019. Historically, the rank has been 8th. This week, tied for 4th. More difficult. So we're seeing these par 4s playing more difficult. Hole number 15, Firethorn, par 5, has averaged 4.78 historically. This week is averaging 4.45. Historically is ranked 18th most difficult, so easiest hole in the course. This year as well, 18th easiest hole in the course. 16, par 3, Redbud being the name, 3.15 average historically, 2.98 for 2019. Again, another par 3 averaging less than par. And the one that averaged par was number 6, and it was 3 on the button. So the par 3s are playing quite a bit easier this year. Again, probably due to moisture. As far as difficulty ranking historically for number 16, Redbud, has been 11th. Interestingly enough, it's under par, but it's ranked as the 12th hardest hole. And number 17th, par 4, historically has averaged 4.16 strokes. This year, 4.05. Historically has been ranked 9th most difficult. This year, 10th most difficult. And 18, Holly, par 4, up the hill to the clubhouse for the green jacket, has averaged 4.23 strokes. This year has averaged 4.17 strokes. In the past has been 7th most difficult, and this year has been as tied for 4th most difficult. So those are some interesting numbers. The course is playing easier on the par 3s and playing harder on the par 4s. Again, something to do with moisture, and those holes that go up the hill are playing tougher because it's softer. So really cool stuff, very interesting. Super excited to see how the weekend goes. Hopefully that data was interesting. I geek out with the data. Super interesting stuff. Hitting greens and birdie putts, the most important stat right now at the Masters. It'll be interesting to see how the weather plays into it. So fun to see Tiger playing well, to have Brooks Koepka playing well, Francisco Molinari, we know his game was really well. Louis Oosthuizen has played well at the Masters before. It'll be a great, great weekend, and I hope you enjoy it. Until next time, remember, better data always means better golf, and hopefully more interesting golf. Until next time, thanks.
Thanks for listening to Data Access Golf with Aaron Stewart. Check us out online at dataaccessgolf.com, and we'll see you on the next episode.